Hey guys, man, it's awesome. We're finally starting this podcast. A and J, what I'm saying? For that's the name we came up with, what I'm saying, right, brother?
Welcome everyone. I'm excited to do this journey with Jonell. Oh, by the way, we should introduce ourselves, I guess.
Oh,
My
that's
name is
very true.
Aranje. Met Jonell back in college, and Jonell.
Yeah, my name is Jonell Malone. We met right at college. We're both presidents at our respective campuses. I was at Tacoma Park. My brother was at Germantown. And then we're also in the Hillman Entrepreneurship Program. And so today we're going to talk about our journeys and how we got here, which is very exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's been a amazing roller coaster that I've been enjoying so far.
Yeah. So Jonell, like, what do you do now? Like, what do you do these days? I already know what it is, but just for the viewers, what do you do these days?
Yeah, man. So I have my own business. I'm a financial advisor. So pretty much I help individuals and businesses understand how to better their finances as a whole, whether it's understand how to invest, how to create generational wealth, getting out of debt, life insurance, understand the basics of what their finances really means, and just simplifying that, really educating them on every process and every step that they can take, which I think is very essential. And I know you too as well, man. Like, tell us a little bit more about what you do, man.
Well, I guess what you could call me is like more of like a local business consultant. I do a lot of marketing stuff for local businesses, helping them set up like a lot of business operations technology and things like that. But really, I'm a certified like curiosity person. I get so curious about these new technologies that are coming up and how it can help the local business networks that I'm part of. And you know, especially in this day and age where there's things like AI, all these new software technologies that are coming up, it's important that these local businesses stay updated so they can continue to operate at a very high level and compete with these large organizations and corporations. And so that's what I'm passionate about. I love helping them out. I love implementing these really cool solutions that have come out. And it's honestly a blessing to be able to explore my own curiosity by
Mhm.
through these local businesses, as it is something that like, makes our community very unique. If not, it'll just be very boring and bland. It just looks like a copy and paste
Yeah.
version of every city that is out there. So yeah, so Jonna, like I know personally, like one of your biggest traits is that you're a huge networker. Like he can go into a room, talk to like 50 people at once and get 50 LinkedIn requests like that in the matter of like an hour or two. I'm curious, like what is it? What's the reason behind it? Why is it that you value networking so much?
Man, I would definitely say it's about community, right? I love community. From a young age, I just love having people feel valued, right? Because, in high school, I was very introverted, which is a surprise to many. It's like, oh man, you were introverted. Yeah, I was very introverted. I was just in my own bubble, in my own space. And I had friends I would still connect with people, but I think I wasn't really myself until really I got to college where it was like, okay, now I can actually just be myself. It's
That's
all
what
new
I meant too.
people.
That's
Yeah.
what I know. He came up to me just like that. He's like, "Yo, can I take a picture of you?" Like, wait, what? Oh, just to put on my phone contact. Like, okay, good time.
Because I would ask everybody, take a picture. If I got your number, I was like, take a picture. Now I got Instagram. So I'm like, yo, let me get your Instagram instead. Makes it easier, you know what I'm saying? So I have your picture there. I can just put it up on your page and then now I have you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I'm a very visual person. And I feel like a lot of times too as well, people are very authentic. I love to be myself and I'm just gonna come to you and be who I am and I want to see who you are. And I would love just to connect to people. And now if they don't want to connect with me, that's totally fine. I have no vendetta, no anger, no issue. It's like that's for you. But I just love on people. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's maybe like my background. Like I grew up in the church and that's all I knew was kind of say, for instance, community-based things and stuff like that. But then also it's like by nature, that's how I was. You know what I'm saying? I've always been someone, I'm the oldest sibling, so I always had to make sure my siblings were good. But also I had to also be the leader in many respects in some places where it's like I had to step up. And so I'm like, if I want to be the change, I have to start with myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot about me. But I know for you too, Rondi, like I feel like you're someone that's very solution based. You know what I'm saying? You're always coming up with some of the best solutions that I know. I mean, every time like some of our friends have issues, like you're coming with the solution. I'm like, man, like this guy's amazing. Like, how did you come up in terms of that? Like, where did that start?
I mean, it's really just like the idea that moving with speed allows you to course correct faster and move through life a lot better, right? And so even when we started this podcast, we were thinking about starting this podcast a while ago. We were
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the perfect moment to come. And I was like, you know what? Let's just start it. Let's just start doing it. Start on Zoom. We don't even need mics or anything like that. But the idea is that we get on this, we start moving towards solutions. You'll find out, you learn stuff. I'm sure after this first episode, we'll be like, hey, we should do this better next time. We should do that better next time. But without having a solution to test out, like hypotheses, like doing hypothesis testing, you
Mm-hmm.
won't you won't actually make progress. And so it's not that the solution is where the strength is. The idea is the strength is from having like deciding on something
Yeah.
and being willing to fail fast, and also learn fast. And that's kind of like where the inspiration comes from. And I think with business, it helps me do that even more.
Mm-hmm.
Life
Mm-hmm.
has its challenges and things like that, right? There's opportunities to fail fast and learn fast, but business specifically, there's so many opportunities to do that. The only way you could get better at business is if you actually do that.
That's real.
If you do take those risks and make those decisions, um, and so yeah, it's honestly a blessing. It allows you to it allows you to put yourself in situations like, for example, in my case, like when I talk to these local business owners, every time it's always a new issue. Like someone doesn't
Mm.
have some kind of Squarespace set up, like with their
Mm-hmm.
appointment booking system, and I'm like, okay, I have no clue how this thing works, but me and my team can get together and like start thinking about, okay, let's brainstorm. What can we do to help them out, right?
Yeah,
And so, but but it's never the right answer,
that's
right?
right.
But the thing is, the choice to move towards the answer allows you to course correct and eventually find the answer. But without making that choice, you're never going to actually reach the solution. So when you
That's
say
so good.
solution-based person, like that, it's just making a decision to find the answer rather than kind of thinking like, huh, what is the answer? So
That's so good. That's so good.
yeah.
That's two things I would love to touch on that you said. One was really say, for instance, how you kind of come to people in terms of, say, failure, right? How does that look, right? But then also, how do you learn from that? And I think that's two important things I think we will really highlight in this podcast and will always show is that there's going to be flaws in business.
Mhm.
There's no situation where it's going to be perfect, but at the end of there is a solution. You know what I'm saying? And we got a solution guy right here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's a big thing too as well. When it comes to just life, you know what I'm saying? It's repeating that cycle, and that's how you become a better version of yourself. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure Warren Buffett is not who he was when he was a young man or any successful person. There were many times where they had to fail to get to where they're at. But the things they learned from those failures, they didn't quit. And that's one of the biggest things too. I'll say about my brother here is that he's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And one thing we're gonna talk about on the show is being a fighter, being resilient. You know what I'm saying, as a business owner, but also as an individual in general.
I think all for anyone who's tuning in for future episodes, you'll hear more of these failures that we came through, because in reality these are lessons, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like I mentioned before, you learn through these failures, and our hope is that being able to share this, we continue to learn ourselves, but also just give you guys tips and pointers as to how you guys can improve your processes, and we'll also bring in other business owners, anyone who's good at their craft and are really passionate about their work, and so you can continue to hear more quote unquote failure stories. So I'm curious, Jonell, like what's your biggest failure in the last 5 years?
Last 5 years,
Failure in quotes.
man,
Yeah.
in quotes, that's a big one. I can take this in many different spaces. Let me see. Let me ask you a question. How would you want me to get like personal? You want me this with business? Like
Any in
a-
any way
a-
that you think. Any way you
anyway? Oh
yeah.
boy. I would definitely say picking bad relationships and thinking I can turn them to great ones.
Hmm.
Um, whether say for instance it was a romantic relationship or say for instance even a friendship. Sometimes I had a complex which I had to learn was not to try and save people. They have to change themselves. I can't change people. I only can change myself. And so sometimes I would, attract good and bad people around me, right? Because I'm always out there networking, talking to people. And so sometimes some people, the wrong people gravitate towards you because they lack what you have. And so they want a piece of that, but sometimes they don't know how to respect your gift. And so they'll sometimes try to abuse that gift. And so for me, what I had to realize was, hey, I can't people please. And that was like the biggest thing I learned about that. And the solution was sometimes just having distance. Like you can have respect and you can be in those environments, but not to spend more time than what is allowed with those people. And so it really kind of showed me, okay, this person is amazing, person to their family and certain people and things like that. But to me, they're disrespectful. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, or sometimes by their behaviors or their actions. And now they're putting me at fault, and my character is now in question because of these people. And
How do you
so,
feel like how do you feel like
mhm,
it stalled you in progress in terms of life or business, like having those relationships in your life, or did it stall your progress?
for sure, I feel like it stalled my progress for about 2 years in my business. So I started 3 years ago. I would say for 2 years, I was stalled because of these individuals. And really, it was on me, right? Because I chose these relationships. So it was a learning lesson. I can't blame it all on them because I had a lot in that. But what I realized was I need to find a solution. And sometimes the solution for me personally was finding therapy. I got a therapist to help me to work through some different things, to process things. I had to open up and be more vulnerable with the friends that were closest to and talk to brothers like you and other people about what was happening in some of those relationships. And it was like these
Yeah.
things aren't healthy. And so it kind of showed me a different space where it was like I had to have a better counsel around me too as well to kind of protect me.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned that like it was not all on them. It was on
Mm,
you too, right? When you point a finger at someone else, it's you allowed that to happen. You allowed that person to come into your life and make that mess.
correct.
In a way, like I've heard Alex Hormozy talk about this. I think it was Alex Hormozy. He talked
Hmm.
about how like when you put it like you say it's their fault, you just gave them power. When they say it's your fault,
Boom.
in a way, it's like, is this self-deprecating? Maybe, but also because it's your fault, you can fix it.
Correct. Correct.
Self-empowering in reality. And
Correct.
that I think like is a powerful perspective to have. Um, with any problems in your life, like
Correct.
your life might look a certain way that you might like, but if you could just understand the things around you are a result of your own mind and your actions.
Hmm.
And you're like, hmm, what can I do now? Like you can think like, what can I do to actually change this?
Correct.
You have the control. You have the power stick, if you will. Um, so yeah, that's very powerful that you reframed it that way because now you've chosen to have build the right relationships around you, and I could see that just from based on how I see you involved at the church, people that you hang out with, people that you network with, and always providing value to your clients and everything. So yeah, that's very commendable, man.
Nah,
Yeah.
for sure, man. And right back at you, man. Like, what do you feel in the past 5 years has been one of your biggest challenges or that you've overcame in the past 5 years for yourself and your business and life?
You know, I mean, obviously there's a lot, right? There's there's something every day, and it's part of life, and
Yeah.
it becomes part of the game too. It's like, okay, what challenge am I trying to solve today? And
Hmm.
so, in a way, the challenge becomes exciting. But I do remember this is kind of stupid. Like, you as a financial advisor might think like, why did I ever do this? Because you don't know this, by the
Uh,
way. About a year ago, I took a I took a $20,000 course, right? I took a $20,000 course that had a software that came with it.
uh-huh.
That company went bankrupt. So now I'm here down 20K. Put my put, and I think I did I just I think I might have just it was very yeah, it was like I wasn't working for too long, so I kind of just put my savings into it. I was like, I'm going all in. I'm putting my chips in. Probably my worst financial decision.
Yeah.
Um, do I regret it? That is it's a great question. I don't know. I don't know if I
Yeah.
regret it just yet because I feel like the story hasn't played itself out yet. But I have
Mm,
learned a lot through it. Like I understand like so many different things. Like how were they able to sell it to me so well? And I'm like,
hmm.
okay, like
Mm,
what is it that caught my eye with regards to that product? Where did I fail to self-analyze and really critique the purchase that I was making.
Hmm.
And in my head, I was like, like, and I do this. I was like, anything that is related to my business or my self-improvement, I don't hesitate to spend on.
Yeah,
Or
that's
your
real.
greatest asset to spend on. So I don't regret that by any means. But I'm
Hmm.
always like, like what can I do to improve next time? So I have a specific goal. Like when I
Yeah.
purchased it, I don't even think I had a goal in mind. Like I was like, okay, I think this is it. This is it. They had consultants, like
Hmm.
business consultants. There's amazing software that can help me do X, Y, Z. I was like, like this is gonna be it. But I don't
Yeah.
think I knew what I wanted. I just was like, I was hoping that they would help me understand what I wanted. But I was
Mm.
hoping that it was almost like this 20 grand investment was a way to make myself feel better, right?
Mm.
And so when I realized that, I was like, okay, like I don't. When I went through the course, I was like, I don't need this. Like I
Yeah.
already know the information that you're teching me out, and this software isn't even working. The company's going bankrupt. But regardless,
Yeah.
it's like it forced me to get clarity on what exactly I wanted, and
Mm.
getting clarity on the things that I want and the things that you want to do is so important.
That's real.
Allows you to move towards it. Your mind doesn't want to move
Hmm.
towards things that it's not clear about, right? And so even if you do spend 20 grand hoping that you got the solution, um, you can spend as much money as you want, but when your mind is not clear on what it wants, every
Yeah.
solution presented in front of you is going to look wrong.
That's so good. And I'll touch on something too. I
Yeah.
feel like that's a big thing for a lot of the people that we work with, um, in terms of our clients, is that they know what they need to do. Sometimes it's you just want the support or the help. You want the assistance. So I don't think it was that you wanted us to pay this 20 grand just to blow this 20 grand. I think you just wanted a coach. You just wanted a mentor. You wanted someone to kind of show you, hey,
Yep.
what did you do to get to where you're at?
Yep.
Sadly, and that's another thing too, as well, that I've seen, whether it's in the financial industry and now you're even seeing in your industry,
Yep.
is that there are a lot of scammers. There are people that lie a lot. And that's something we could talk about a whole nother day in terms of
Yeah.
scammers and different kinds of scams that are out there in business and being careful
Yeah.
for. But really it's like we just want support. We want to community. That's why we started this podcast too, is to kind of support one another, but also support other businesses in terms of what they're doing, and to kind of help them with some of their challenges and some of their solutions. So I think that's something that's essential, brother. You know what I'm saying? And I'll
Yeah.
even say too as well, like on that point, what would you do? Say if you were to do that same type of course, what would you do differently for, say, for instance, those potential clients that will buy your course?
Say that one more time. What would I do differently for the clients that would buy my course?
If you were to sell a course just like that.
I think I think identifying like how I can specifically help them out. Like
Mm,
the way they were helping my business was like, or like I think I would target the people that I work with a lot better. That's what it is,
mm.
right? I think I was the wrong audience for their business.
Yeah.
I was the wrong audience they were targeting, but then in
Hmm.
a way, like I went on, like all these online forums and stuff like that. So I wasn't the only one that got cheated on it. So I'd like to
Mm.
think uh, it wasn't completely out of my control,
Yeah.
but it might have also been out of my control as well.
Yeah.
But what would I do differently? I won't scam people for
Yeah.
stuff. I want to go out and provide honest service. If anything, for a
Yeah.
lot of my clients, I actually offer them a lot of free service earlier on to
Hmm.
gain their trust, to show them that I can do the work that I promised to do, and
That's good.
then go ahead and you know, sell them on something else,
That's good.
building
That's
that
good.
trust earlier on, right? So providing value first, lead with value first, and then
Hmm.
later on make the sale. But in that case, that was just the company itself was uh, doing like some shady business tactics that I couldn't catch on to.
Yeah.
So I would definitely be wary of it next time going around. Again,
That's
I'm not
good.
saying that it was their fault by any means. I mean,
Yeah.
it is, but it's also my fault because I didn't look into it too deep and
Hmm.
make sure that I do that next time when I do make investments into coaches and business consultants and things like that. I think that's something that we'll keep covering. When we bring, I think part of the reason we want to have this podcast is to like bring on real experts. Have
Yeah.
chat with them and not some phony business guru online, right?
That's
And
real.
it's hard to discern them, right?
That's
So
real.
in a way, we're both. business gurus as well. You give financial advice, I give business technology advice,
Yeah,
marketing. And so the only way you can see through the BS is if you have a conversation with them. And
that's
so
real.
we want to be able to bring those people in. We want to have a conversation with them, build our own knowledge base, and also build a network through it as well. So yeah.
So good, man. So good. You know what I'm saying? And, on that, you know what I'm saying, we can kind of, wrap it up. But I guess what would you say some of the takeaways, you know what I'm saying, for today? What would you say?
Man, I think first off, like it's a good first episode. I'm glad I was able to do it with you, Jonell. I'll
Yes,
keep
sir.
doing it, like hear some feedback on it, and then keep improving it. Obviously you helped me self-reflect on the mistakes that I've made. And even in your case, right? Like I was able to learn how important it is to have the right kind of people around you. Especially like, I've even heard like in choosing your woman is like the most important decision of your life, the right woman.
Man.
I've heard that so much, but hearing it from you as well, I'm like, man, like that is so true. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. So that's a big takeaway for myself. How about you?
Man, I would definitely say just the blessing of just having good relationships, man. Like, because I've known you for now for how long has it been? Like 7, 8 years? Like
2016. No, yeah.
2016. Yeah. So that's,
No, 15.
ooh,
9 years.
9 years.
I met you at FCC at a
Wow.
government thing. That's what.
That I'm telling you, the
Yeah.
power of good friendships is essential. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's my biggest takeaway from this is like how thankful, how grateful I am to have friends like you.
Yeah.
That I could be in business with you too as well. But just seeing the growth in you, seeing the growth in myself over these years and just reflecting on these things, it's a blessing. So I'm so excited about what we're gonna be doing with this podcast, and how we're just gonna take this to another level, man. So super stoked.
But I hope you guys stay subscribed on whatever platform that we have it up. But you guys will hear from us soon.
All right, guys,
There you
appreciate it.
guys.
Take care.